Hello, everyone. It's another Wednesday. It's another 11 a.m. We have a fascinating topic today. We're talking about guarantees and progress and roadmaps to pull-ups. Let's bring it on. Bring on the questions. Can't wait to answer them.
Hi, everyone. We always talk about guaranteed progress, but a bit of a cocky question, but how can you actually guarantee progress?
That's a good one. But first of all, um, before writing the book, I literally asked myself the question. I always try to inverse problems. So that means, what would I have to do to make absolutely sure that I don't see progress, right? And I had a list of things, and on top of the list was very simple, like don't show up to train. That's a very simple one. The second one was, and that's what I saw a lot in training, was I call it bones being displaced or joints collapsing, however you want to, like shoulders rolling forward, knees caving in, that kind of stuff. That's a pretty good guarantee of not seeing progress, right? Because you either get hurt or you don't get kilos on your back squat. The third one is what I also saw a lot was okay, you're using more smaller muscles to do the big work rather than the big muscles do the work. So I can guarantee you, if you do those three things, that means don't show up. When you show up, you let your joints collapse all the time, and you use more small muscles than big muscles. I can guarantee you have no progress. All right. So the only thing that I have to do right now is what? Just inverse all those problems. The first one I can't because I cannot make you show up. I would love to, but I cannot physically force you to show up at my gym, right? So that's a little bit on you. The second one is okay, I can, how can I guarantee that your bones won't get displaced? Meaning less displaced over time. That means your shoulder rolling less forward, your knees caving less in. And that we're going to talk about today. And the third one is how can I make sure that you're using more big muscles rather than small muscles? So that's how I came up with all that fancy guaranteeing process. Um, and we talked last week about playing a game and what a game is about and a gamification of training. And I think that's very much needed. I'll give you 2 minutes of theoretical stuff and then I'll dive right into the hopefully more practical stuff. We shall see. So the first thing is training is awesome. And why is training an awesome game? Because you don't need any other players. That's very beneficial on two different levels. The first one is chess is hard, not because of chess, but because of your opponent. Soccer is hard because you're playing with 10 other guys on your team against 11 other guys on the other team. Training is actually really simple because you're the only one playing that game. So you don't have any direct opponent. Nobody can, whatever, try to break your bones. That's only on you. So you have everything in control. Is what I'm saying. So the point is, let's make a quick recap of last week. Um, what are the key ingredients of that game? It's you need players. So in that case, it's only you. You need a goal. That's totally up to you. If that's three pull-ups, losing 10 kilos or 200 kilo back squat, we need conditions because guess what? Everything in life needs some sort of framework, conditions, rules, choose your own word, because otherwise everybody's doing whatever they want. And that's what's happening in training right now. Because it's just saying squat and everybody does their interpretation of squat, whatever for them the squat is. And then a smart coach jumps in, I was that before, jumps in and be like, no, no, do this different and do this different. But there's no set of rules in a squat as of now. And the last part is how we can measure if we win. Right now, this is only about okay, how many reps I can do and how much weight I can move. That's it. The ends justify the means. That's the current training philosophy out there. You you get cheered on doing a 200 kilo back squat with your knees touching each other, your lower back collapsing, and the shoulder almost sorry, the bar almost killing you, and you get cheered on. As much as I love the dedication and the whatever the achievement of a 200 kilo back squat, but that shit is not how it's supposed to be, right? And I'm not a perfectionist per se, but my point is there's no clear set of the game of training as of now. So my game is, and I'm just gonna try, keep it slow. I'm very excited. Breathe. My game is, all I want to say is, I'm going to explain to you my game and how I play the game of training is going to help you reach your goals. You're playing your game, and that's super important. And I'm going to show you. Do we have a practical example of today, or did you already mention it? I'm so in the zone right now.
No, we do have a practical example, but I haven't mentioned it yet. But before
Okay,
we,
go ahead.
I want to throw in something. Where does a good coach come in to that whole equation? Because you've now spoken very much about what the individual can do. But
Okay.
if you're not a coach yourself, that is also a part that we should talk about.
We should, and I can spend an hour talking about it, and I'm trying to do it in 2 minutes. Okay, first of all, I think the most knowledgeable coaches should train the most normal people. So that means the job description of the coach changes a lot from training normal people, and let's go to the other end of the spectrum, which is a pro athlete, right? Both need great coaches, but a great coach for a pro athlete is totally different than a good coach for a normal person. So I'm trying to educate the good coaches for the normal people. I have no clue what to do with pro athletes. I work with them, that's fine, but that's not of my interest, because I want to help Susan with the lower back pain picking up her kids, or Jack want to get Jack doing 2 pull-ups because he has like 2 hours a week of training available besides running a business, having a family, and taking care of other things in life. But that is my goal. So yes, 100%. Like a good coach is the thing that you need. Now, for you out there looking for a good coach, make sure they play your game. There's a lot of coaches, and I was in that for like 10 years too, who played their game, but they want to help you with totally different goals. Practical example. Your goal is showing up twice a week and getting like a pull-up in 2 years. That's realistic, or call it 1 year, whatever. That's realistic in terms of your time budget, your money budget, and I call it your attention budget. That means how much time do you want to invest towards your goals? If you tell me you want to train twice a week, you have 50 kilos overweight, and you want to back squat 500 kilos in 2 weeks, I have to give you a proper answer of that is not possible, right? So set a realistic goals in your game with your conditions, and then a good coach, a really good coach, will adjust to that. That means he will not throw in his methodology of, hey, I love squatting with barbells, and so should you, because that's the only thing I know, and this is going to give you your first pull-up. Or this is a PDF that I've printed from the web, from the internet, which should give you a pull-up, but I've never given anybody any pull-up ever, right? So that is a good coach. A good coach adjusts to your needs and to your game that you want to play. They don't want to bring their game into you, right? There's a quick story time, a quick analogy. And Phil, one of our coaches, will make fun of me because I still have not seen all Star Wars movies, but I've seen some of them, clips of it. So whatever. And there's a very fascinating scene where, I hope I get the names right, where Yoda is standing in front of a cave, and Luke Skywalker is asking him like, what's in there? And Yoda says, whatever you bring with you. And that is the same in training. So the coach cannot bring anything with him into your coach's cave. Like, you have to go in there and observe and ask the person, okay, what is your goal? How much time do you want to invest? And what do you actually want to fucking achieve? Right? And then I'm going to adjust as a coach and be like, okay, this is the equipment we should use for your goal. This is the exercise we should do for your goal. This is the whatever rep range that you should do for your goal, right? And that's a very hard distinction to do, because we humans tend to do stuff with others that we're good at, right? So if I'm a power lifter, like a world-class power lifter, guess what? I'm gonna do fucking powerlifting with you to get you to your first pull-up. But that might not be the best way to do it. So great question. That was the short answer.
And because you mentioned it, speaking of first pull-up, can you give me a roadmap to my guaranteed first pull-up?
Sure. Okay. Let's talk about the general game of training. So I think we need four components to play the game of training. If we cannot agree on those four variables, that means we cannot play this game together. It's the same. I mentioned it last week, but I'm going to repeat it. That's the same as what's your favorite sport?
You're going to hate me. It's probably running.
Okay, cool. Oh, that's a tough one. Okay, I'll take running. Okay, so what is the game of running? So that means if you compete in running, let's say you do a marathon, right? That's a pretty good set of rules, right? Because there's a certain distance, like it's 42 point something kilometers. There's a starting line, there's a finish line, you have a number on you, there's a starting time, there's a starting spot. But there's certain rules, conditions. That means we know the players. So you are the player and you're running against whatever, 3 million other people. We know the goal is to get literally as fast as possible from starting line to the finish line. It's actually pretty simple. I mean, in terms of intelligence, not in terms of doing it. What is a win? The win is, so how can I measure if I'm successful or not? Is okay. Did I run faster than last time? So is the marathon I ran in 2000 whatever 17 faster or slower than my marathon in 2025? So those are the four variables. It's players' goals, it's conditions, and it's win. If I come in and I'm not agreeing with those conditions, with the players, with the goals, and with the win measurements, that means I'm not playing the same game. What does it mean? I'm not starting at the starting line. I'm starting somewhere else, like in the middle of it. I'm not finishing at the finishing line. I'm finishing 3 kilometers shy of it. I'm not obeying to being measured in time. I want to be measured in unicorns and apples, right? That's not gonna happen. So that means it's a silly example, but that means there is no such thing in training right now. And I want to create it so we can play that game together. Everyone plays their own game, but if we want, we can play that game with each other. Right now, this is only about getting asked at the disco, how much do you bench? How much push-ups can you do? How much can you squat? How much can you deadlift? How many pull-ups can you do? These are the only variables that we have right now. So you do anything to reach them. Going back to the 200 kilo back squat example, with your knees caving in and with your lower back collapsing and with everything breaking apart and shit hitting the fan, that's still a win as of now in training. But for me, it's not. Because you're sacrificing your long-term gain by sacrificing literally your body to win the short-term game. And that needs to change. All right. That's a long introduction, but I think it's worth it because we have to agree to certain stuff. Otherwise, we cannot play that game. So that is my game. Okay. Let's make it a little bit more practical because I want to end up with the pull-up. So what does it mean? What are the players in my personal game, how I want to teach training? My players are bones, that means positions, and muscles, that means tension. What is, so to speak, the goal of my training? It's I want to see less bone displacement because we talked about shoulders collapsing and knees coming in. Like my goal in training is, because I think that will guarantee you not being successful if bones collapse, I want to work against that. So that is one of my goals. The second goal is I want you to use more bigger muscles for more load of work than smaller muscles for the same amount of work. All right. That is my general goal for you in training. That's it. Okay. What are the conditions? I've created in the book 2 simple conditions. The first one is you have to learn 1 hip position and 3 shoulder positions, where your bones are when you do stuff, right? That's my position condition. And the tension condition is you have to learn what to do with only 3 muscles being involved. That is your lats, that is your obliques, and that is your glutes. That is all we need to learn, probably for the first, depending on your goals, 2 to 20 years. Right? Yes, there's more stuff you can do. There's more stuff you can learn. There's assistance work, there's mobility work, but I wanna unfuck training for you. I wanna eliminate stuff for you because it's not necessary. So those are my conditions. The last thing is, how can I measure if I'm winning? Because that's super important. Because you cannot end the session and don't know if there was a good session or not. So how can you measure it? And again, stepping away from weights, only weights and reps will lead them for sure, but we would have to bring other stuff as well. So how can I measure position if my bones get less displaced? Super simple. It's my last rep rule, which means, okay, I'm going to do 5 pull-ups, and my measurement is, do I see less of your shoulder coming forward on the last rep compared to the first rep? If yes, it's a fucking win in the session. If no, you did not win the session. It's actually super simple. So that means that's the position part. And the tension part is, okay, am I getting closer to my benchmark numbers? Our level 1 numbers, we have specific exercises, specific equipment in it, where I know that you have to use more of the big muscles rather than the small muscles, like squeezing a sandbag together and doing front squats has to engage your lats, rather than relying on a barbell where literally no lats can be involved while holding a barbell in the front leg. All right, so are you getting closer to moving more weights and more reps? Sweet. I have a tool for that, which is the ping pong cycle. We talked about it before. I'm not going to go into details, but there's actually a way how to do the weight rep thing, ping ponging in between and four, so you can actually get stronger. Of course, we're going to do reps and need weights. Yes, we do. All right, so let's go into your game. You said you want to do your first pull-up. Okay, let's break it down. Who are the players? I told you I need bones and muscles. So which are the bones I'm focusing on for your first pull-up? Exclusively the shoulder blades. Which muscle am I focusing on? Exclusively the lats. Those are my 2 players for your first pull-up. Sweet. What is the goal? I want to see less big arm bone rolling forward. That means this thingy here, that's your big arm bone. When you say shoulder rolling forward, it's actually your big arm bone doing this. So shoulder rolling forward and big arm bone doing this is exactly the same. I want to see less of this. And of course, I want to see more big muscle engagement, which means I want to see more lat engagement. Okay, give me a second. We're going to get even more concrete. That means, what are the conditions to doing this? The conditions are, on the bone level, we said the shoulder blades, we said less big arm bone displacement. The conditions are your shoulder blades have to be down and in at all times. So once you start your pull-up, your shoulder blades need to move together, in and stay down. Once you're up there, your shoulder blades have to stay together. That's a condition on the bone level. What's the condition on the tension level? The condition is you want to get more pump in the lat and you're going to dump your trap. That means if I feel my lats more in the last session and I feel less of my traps doing this, then I'm going in the right direction. This is how I can measure. This is how I can measure the bones and the tension, the muscles. All right. Concrete measurement, practical examples. Less bone displacement for the positions, more muscle engagement, achieving benchmark numbers, doing more reps, etc. Let's say you have 0 reps, of course, because you want to get your first one. You're going to stand on a box. You're going to grip supinated. Your feet are going to remain on the box at all times. I'm going to let you do 5 reps, and you're going to obviously assist with your feet, only making sure that you're matching the conditions. That means if you pull yourself up, your shoulder blades stay down and go together, and you feel more of this and less of this. All right? Mm-hmm. That's one set. In the second set, we're going to do this exact same thing, maybe lower the box so you can push less with your feet. And we're going to adjust doing this for whatever, 3, 4, 5, 6 sets. That totally depends on your body constitution, if you're overweight or not, doesn't matter, right? And this is what we're going to stack up until we at some point can start either removing the box or going into more like I don't even know what that exercise is called. It's not a ring row, but you do a bar row. It's the same principle as the ring row. So we're going to progress you more towards the actually holding your body weight while still obeying to the conditions that we agreed on, right? That is how I can guarantee pull-ups. The only thing I don't know is how long is it going to take you. If I would say this is going to take you 6 weeks, I would be a scamster. I would be a fraudster because I cannot know this. I can tell you from my experience, your body composition, your level of fitness, your whatever, your weight, etc. I can give you an estimate of my past experiences of similar people to you, how long it took them, but that's only an approximation. The real answer is I have no clue how long it's going to take, but I know we're going to get there if we follow those steps.
This is now maybe a very detailed question, but I'm surprised that you said a supinated grip. And I was actually expecting you to come in with a neutral grip. Why am I
That's a very good question because that's a very good example of people focusing on details and not seeing the big picture.
Yeah.
In all honesty, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
It doesn't. Yes, we're probably going to start with a neutral grip or a supinated grip. I won't start with the pronated grip because that's like where's the camera? Here it is. That hand position is gonna make it easier for some muscles to disengage, so your shoulder starts rolling forward. Whatever, either supinated or neutral, it doesn't matter. Honestly, I would test it and see which one of those two is the better grip for you. Like what gives you the perception of being stronger. I think it's gonna be neutral, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
Okay, if we're talking about details, I'll probably do one set each, just alternating. So I'll do one set of 5, 6 with a neutral grip. I'll do one set of 5, 6 with a pronate. I'm sorry, with a supinated grip, and then we'll do 3 or 4 rounds of both. That's probably what I'm going to
do. Okay.
That's it. No more questions.
No, that's it.
Sweet. Okay. I'm obsessed with this, as you might be able to tell. I'm obsessed with giving normal people guaranteed results. So training is something that people start looking forward to rather than seeing it as an obligation or a burden or a challenge to do. This is what I'm trying to do with my gym, like creating a place where you come in and yes, you're going to do fucking hard work. Like there's just no way around. Like suck it up, princess, get your helmet on and just move on. This is how life works. But the good thing is, you know that you're going to see progress. So this is not a game of, oh, maybe you'll see this, or you're going to get stronger, or you're going to look better, or feel better. Like, I don't buy any of that bullshit. If I cannot give you X and Y amount of progress in X and Y amount of time, I have failed my job. I have failed my profession. So this is what we're creating. This is what we're prepping for our people. This is where my training is going towards. Fucking love it. We're going away from all those bullshit phrases and throwing words like, okay, more tension, more hamstrings in there. No, let's make a very detailed, systematic approach how we're going to teach normal people how to get abnormal and guaranteed results. A pretty good sentence to close the session for today. All right, guys. As always, bring on the questions. I got the pull-up today. No worries. I'm going to break down every single movement we're doing in our templates, in my own training. I'm going to break down every single movement that is out there, which will make us stronger. Promise. Pinky promise. I'll do this. Pictures, videos, everything will be in there. This is going to be fun. Bring other questions. If you want to see the box squat or a deadlift, I don't care. Bring it on. I'll prep it for you guys next week and we'll talk about it. Without further ado, have a good one. Talk next week. Bring on the questions. Fucking love it. Bye.